afternoon, and welcome back to our fourth installment of the Nick and Jack Show. We got a great show planned for you guys, jam-packed. We got a great interview with women's basketball coach David Saur, talking about tomorrow's game. We got a big game tonight for the men's basketball team, home playoff game, first time ever. Going to get into a little bit of basketball here first, but Nick, I got to ask you, how excited are you for tonight's game?
I couldn't be more excited. You know, it's a white house, so I got my outfit planned.
I was going to say, did you bring your white shirt?
Oh, it's all wet.
Okay.
I got it on right now.
All right, cool.
Going right from here to the game. But we convinced our coach to give us off practice tonight, so we're ready to go for tonight. I know it's going to be electric in there. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere, and hopefully they can pull out a win against W&J. It should be fun.
Yeah, it should be a great game. Jumping into some, just this past week, recap for some Chatham sports. For the basketball team, we'll jump in since we were already talking about basketball. Men's lost their final regular season game at home against St. Vincent, 80-73. Isaiah Brown was the leading scorer with 26 points. And the women also fell to the Bearcats at St. Vincent, 77-53. And the leading scorer for the Cougars was Katie Sick with 14 points. Nick, I think you got some hockey stuff for us?
Yeah, but first, I just want to say, I was really disappointed in that one. Not in the team, just the fact that they lost, because St. Vincent is obviously one of their top competitors this year. And I know I tweeted it out on the page, like, I would have loved to see them go into St. Vincent last regular season game before the playoff game tonight and get a win on their senior night. That would have been kind of the icing on the cake to finish the season.
Like you said, winning it on the last day of the game. I mean,
they went into it with a 5-game win streak, so they had the momentum going in, and it was a 80-73 game, so it wasn't that big of a deficit. So
very close game,
for sure.
Yeah.
But now let's get into a little hockey. For first, the men's, they lost Friday, February 15th, 8-4 against Lebanon Valley. Not a lot to talk about during the game. Michael Lamison, Tristan Sim, Eric Hildebrand, and Corey King all notched 1 goal. And then, should we do the game right now, or
why not? Game of the week? Yeah, we'll do game of the week. And a hockey game.
We decided the game of the week for this week's show was going to be the men's hockey game against Elmira,
yeah.
I always mess that up. Against Elmira. It was actually their senior night. Derek Schrank and Kirk Underwood, to kind of give you a little bit of background on the game, they scored in the second to put the Cougs up 2-0. You go into the third period, Chris Lutz scores in the third. Elmira scores a power point goal to make it 3-1. Underwood netted his second goal in the third, and then Elmira scored one about, was it 18 minutes in? Yeah, 18 minutes into the game, into the third period. So that kind of notched a 4-2 victory and put them on a good little, just kind of end the season on a good note. You know, it's always fun to, like I said about the basketball team, it's always fun to get a win on someone's senior night, because you kind of always schedule senior night to be one of the
easier teams.
I didn't want to say weaker, but one of the easier teams. So it's always it's cool to come in and get a win on senior night. And for their season as a whole, it's unbelievable, like the strides they've taken.
Lots of big steps for that team,
Exactly, because like I have the 2018 stats right here. They were 2-20-3 overall, and then 2-14 in the conference. And then this year, they went from 2-20-3 to 6-17-2, and then 4-13-1 in the conference. So yeah, they played about, quick math, two more conference games, but they managed to get 2 more wins. Had less losses in the conference play, so they're definitely going in the right direction, you know. And you got to remember, this is only their second year, Chatham's second year with the hockey team, so it's looking like it's just on a steady rise up. So I'm excited to see where the future leads the hockey.
Absolutely, and a little bit on that game too. Elmira usually is one of the top hockey teams in the country, really, for Division III. They've historically been a very good program. So for a second-year program to take down kind of a typical David and Goliath kind of matchup right there, and I think that's awesome. Not only to beat Elmira and how good they are, but also to beat them last game of the season. You know, that's always a great way to end the season. And going into next season, definitely something that they can totally build off of.
For sure. They're definitely moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Now over to the women's side. Unfortunately, they lost both their games this weekend to Manhattanville College. Saturday was their senior night. It was Christina Block, KJ Frost, Michelle Jones, and Jill Rowland. They're all moving past Chatham after this year. But we just kind of wanted to talk about some of their stats from this season. Block, she had 2 goals this season, 3 assists. KJ, 1 goal and 2 assists. Michelle Jones 1 goal and 1 assist, and then Jill came out 2 goals and 2 assists. So it's unfortunate that they got a loss on their senior night, but they've kind of they didn't go downhill from last year. They didn't really improve too much. They kind of are on the same level that they were last year, because they were 7-14-2 last year, 4-12 in the conference, and then this year they were 7-18 and 4-14. So they played 2 more games this year, but they lost those 2 extra games. So they have a lot of potential for next year. I'd love to see how the coaches. What's the word?
Kind of built off of
it. Exactly. Yeah. How they kind of build off of it, and kind of how she recruits differently, knowing their strengths and weaknesses, and how they move into the 2019-2020 season next year, and hopefully turn this team around. Because it's definitely exciting going to the games, but they weren't able to stay in contention for the playoff run this year. But always next year for sure.
Yeah, that senior night game, that was kind of a heartbreak.
Yeah,
I was announcing it. I was on the mic, and it was tough. It was 0-0 pretty much the entire game, and with about 4 or 5 minutes left in the third period, Manhattanville scored the 1 goal of the game. So that's a tough way to go out on your senior night. But the younger players can definitely learn from this and kind of build off of this, like you were talking about, and maybe they'll say, hey, we don't want to do this on our senior night, so let's come back next year ready to roll, ready to put some work in, and kind of continue to improve each and every year.
Exactly.
So great job on the hockey. You're going to head over to the swimming and absolutely, dude. Heading over to the swimming and diving, they actually had the PAC championships last Thursday, so we got 3 days of results to give you guys. So for day 1, Iris Marzoff, Jade Marzoff, Mallory Marzoff, so all 3 of them, all 3 of the sisters, and Kristen Makita finished second with a new school record of a time of 1 minute and 37 seconds in the 200-yard freestyle relay. And then Christine Makita also came in second in the 500-yard freestyle with a time of 5 minutes and 17 seconds. Mallory Marzoff was a back-to-back champion at the IM 200-yard finals, finished with a 2 minute and 8 second time. So I believe that she won the preliminaries and then they won the finals too. So that's pretty impressive to win both of those events in order to get to the finals.
Both of the actually I'm not 100% which one's the lower sister.
Yeah,
I know 2 of them are twins.
Yeah,
and it seems like their names always pop up on the Chatham Twitter, Instagram feed. They've accomplished some major things here at Chatham in their swimming and diving careers. I know I see them all the time, especially in the PAC championships, breaking their own records, breaking PAC records, breaking school records, and it's almost like they're competing against themselves, because you see them break a record and then they just break it a couple weeks later.
They break their own record half the time.
Exactly. It's got to be really exciting to see. I can't imagine what their parents think too. That's got to be exciting.
Oh, it's got to be awesome.
Having 3 of your 3 girls all be collegiate swimmers at the same school and just break record after record. So
especially being on the same relay team too.
Exactly.
That's gotta be very cool.
That's props to them. I'm sure they're proud, and I'm sure the girls are proud of their own accomplishments too.
Yeah, really absolutely. Actually, that same relay team on day 1 broke another school record in the 400-yard relay with a time of 4 minutes and 4 seconds. They came in 3rd place. Jumping into day 2, Mallory Marzoff won the 100-yard backstroke with a time of 57 seconds. And then going into day 3, not much went on for day 2 for the Cougars, but day 3, Kristen Makita came in second in the 1,650-yard freestyle with a time of 18 minutes and 17 seconds. I actually saw that, and I was absolutely blown away at the amount of yards that somebody would swim in a pool. I don't know about you, but I've tried to swim once or twice up and down, and it is incredibly tiring. So I can imagine 1,600 yards has got to be exhausting.
Oh, well, we've both been on the PA for the swim meets, and I don't remember what the distance is, but the very long one takes like 30 minutes to complete, and I'm just sitting there waiting for them to finish it. And I'm sitting there getting tired just watching, and they're sitting there just putting every ounce they have into it.
That's got to be exhausting. I honestly, I don't know how one would train for that. I mean, because half the time you're really not breathing because you're underwater. So that's very impressive.
That's also one of the things they have to learn. Baseball, one of the first things you have to learn is how to hold a bat. So you got to learn the opportune times to take breaths underwater. Not take breaths underwater, but
that would be a problem.
It would be.
That would be a mighty problem.
Exactly.
That would be, Anyways, and then wrapping up day 3, Mallory Marzoff also won the 200-yard backstroke with a time of 2 minutes and 6 seconds. And the Cougars, all in all, were 4th place in the PAC for swimming and diving.
Do you know how many teams competed in it?
I believe it was 8.
Was it this same 8?
Yeah, I believe it was 8. But congratulations to the swim and diving team. Did a great job this season. They improved a bunch from last year and even the year before. So again, we're seeing lots of trends of Chatham teams continuing to just progress in the right direction, and it's great to watch as fans and supporters.
Yeah, it's just really interesting to see how not only the guys' teams have grown since their first year, but how the women's team, since guys have been introduced, how they've
progressed with them.
They're on the same upward trend. And the only explanation I can think is, one, they've gotten a very good recruitment of coaches into the athletic department. They have pretty much new coaches for almost every team. But also, with the introduction of guys, I feel like it brought a lot of great guy athletes in, and it kind of just shed a lot more light on the school. You bring a lot more talented female athletes in, and they're both on the same upward trend. So it's exciting to see where Chatham athletics is going as of right now.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited to see, not only just next year, but even 10 years down the road, kind of where the school goes, and not only the school, but the athletic department too, and how much it grows and expands.
Exactly. So the last sport we're going to talk about today is lacrosse. They got spanked pretty hard in their preseason game, but they came back and they played Mount St. Joseph and beat them 26-3. I was on the mic there at Highmark, and this was kind of expected going into the game. I wouldn't say a 26-3 win was expected, but getting a dub was definitely expected, because I was looking at Mount St. Joseph's stats from last year, and they were 2-13 on the year as a whole. Yeah. So great to start off the season with a win. Hopefully, once they play kind of the other top tier teams, they'll be able to pull in. I doubt the same kind of score, but hopefully the same kind of result.
Yeah. I mean, 26 goals for a lacrosse game that's scoring, 100 points in a basketball game. That's a lot of goals.
I was on the mic, and after about the 8th goal, I had to change it up a little, because the whole Cougar goal was getting a little redundant. Yeah. But I'll tell you, the name that I said the most was this new guy, Kyle Rowland. He led the way with 6 goals and 1 assist. And I was surprised when I looked at the stats, because I definitely said his name more than 7 times, because he was everywhere, and he was in the midst of every play. He was also named the PAC Offensive Player of the Week, and I thought he deserved it 100%, because he was just in the middle of every play.
Yeah.
Another guy I want to talk about, Vysotsky. He apparently he's one of the, especially last year, he was like one of the lead guys in the nation for face-offs. Yeah. I remember watching the game. He won pretty much every face-off. He won 21 out of 28, and that just puts you in a good position right off the bat. You win a face-off, you automatically have a chance to score. So 21 out of 28 times, what is that, like 3 out of 4?
Yeah, it's
75% of the times you're starting off with the ball. Yeah. And that's pretty much all the highlights from that game. I know their next game is this Saturday, February 23rd, sorry about that, versus Heidelberg University, once again at Highmark at 5:30. So definitely come and check it out. And then I know they're kind of going to have a problem like mid-season, because I know Highmark's returfing the field in like March, I believe. So they're going to pretty much play all their home games there, but I was talking like they don't really know what they're going to do after that. They don't know if they're going to kind of switch some home games to away, or if they're going to try to find a new field to play on, but I know that'll be interesting.
I hope that they can stay at Highmark for as long as they can.
Highmark's awesome.
It's great. I mean, I know we've mentioned it before. Yeah, it must be a great time to play there. I mean,
that's kind of like the equivalent of like us, our baseball team being able to play at PNC. Like that would be an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, that'd be a very cool atmosphere. So we're going to jump over to our interview with Coach David Saur. We'll be right back with you guys. Don't go anywhere. To the Nick and Jack Show. We are here now with our guest, David Saur. Coach, how you doing? Good to see you. Head coach of the women's basketball team. So we'll just jump right into it. First, talk about a little bit about your background. You've coached at all 3 levels, Division 1, 2, and 3, also at the junior college level. Have you found transitioning from those different levels challenging in your coaching philosophy, or have you been able to kind of maintain that same philosophy all these years?
Definitely. I think, at the end of the day, as simple as it is, basketball is basketball. Men or women have done both as well. And I think, philosophy for me really starts and ends with competitiveness. And that's really, kind of the root of everything we do, everything I'm about. So as you would guess, that would cross over every level. And that cross over any profession and what have you. You got to be a competitor. And
Absolutely.
I think that's been the biggest thing that I take, with me philosophy-wise, and every level it's been pretty much the same.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So kind of now on the more Chatham aspect of it, being able to take this team from last year where they were in 9th place, a non-contendable playoff team, to making the playoff this year, how have you kind of been able to make these girls buy into your process that you brought in this year?
Yeah, it starts and stops with them. I think number one, without what they've been able to do and the production, the work they've put in, all those things. Without that, we have none of it. At the same time, my philosophy, obviously, very different style of play, all those things. But if they don't buy in, we don't. It doesn't matter what I bring to the table. So I think at the end of the day, I think it starts with our seniors that are we're hungry to win, hungry to compete.
For sure.
And I think them buying in allow the rest of the roster and team to kind of buy in. And at the end of the day, I think, I let them know every single day it's never been about me, never will be about me. We're in this thing together, from, as I said the other day in the locker room, from our student assistant coaches to the head coach to the first player leading scorer to a player that hadn't gotten off the bench all year. We're all in it together. We all have a role, and I think that's been the biggest thing is everybody understanding they're a part of this thing, they're important, and from there we've been able to kind of do some things even a little past what I thought this year.
Right,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, that's a great job.
Appreciate
Great job,
it.
yeah.
That's kind of one of the things I've realized too, is just being on many different teams in my life. It's the teams that are the more winning teams, are the teams that everybody buys into the
Right.
we kind of ideals. Instead of playing for yourself, you're playing for the name on the front, not the back.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are your best teams usually, because they're always buying in, they're always, believing in their coach, and kind of whatever the coach says, that's, the golden rule, and they take that to heart, so really good. Now, getting into tomorrow, taking on Teal College, you've actually a graduate of Teal, used to coach at Teal. How did your prior experience coaching and being in the PAC affect your decision coming to Chatham and coaching here?
Second to none. I think without that previous experience, I don't even know if I would even have looked at the opportunity, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think it's been, the league has steadily gotten more competitive. I think with, the subtraction of Thomas More, I think really has opened things up for all of us to have an opportunity this time of year. Even, you say Teal, AC, they would beat number 5 yesterday. They got a chance to win just like anybody else. They get hot. And I think we all, the separation from even 1 to 5, 2 to 8, all those things, it's a small margin for error. And I think it's really competitive. I think that's been a fun part of the year, a little stressful. You're up late, watch film, but it's fun this time of year. Everybody's got a chance, and I think, being here before on the men and women's side at Teal, I think really, gave me good insight on what the league was about, what the opportunities were, kind of even knowing Chatham to a certain degree, had been away for 5 or 6 years from the area, but I still had some background and understanding, and gave me a good baseline stepping in. So.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
So is there a different game plan going into tomorrow now that you're in the playoffs, or what kind of game plan do you have going into tomorrow's game?
Great question. I think, Rob Clune and the Tomcats won't be able to listen to this before it airs.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But no, I think it's for us, and I think they know exactly, it's kind of who we are, but I think we've got to make this thing, if you're watching it, we need to make it a track meet. And I think, I think they do have the most athletic player on the floor, jumping up and down, with Destiny Johnson, the freshman. But as far as rotations go, we are the deeper team athletically against these guys. I think we play a style up and down that they don't typically do. And I think with them coming back on a short turnaround, playing Saturday, Monday, coming into our place again, traveling on Wednesday, we want to get up and down. And I think relatively the game plan, is pretty much similar. I think we'll have some tweaks here or there, but I think the biggest thing from a defensive standpoint, they've got, in my opinion, the MVP of the league, Jess Vormelker, over 20 points a game. We got to make life harder on her. I think she's going to get her shots, no doubt. She'll get 20 to 25 shots, I would guess, tomorrow. But we want to make, the majority of those contested, off balance, step backs, all those things, and make life tough on her. If she's got to go 9 for 25 from the field to get her 19 points, we'll be in pretty good shape. But we can't let their best player in a one-game season, basically what it is from here out.
Yeah.
You've got to take away that option one, make somebody else have to make those plays. And that's going to be the biggest thing for us. And offensively, just do what we do, have fun, get in the lane, layups, threes, draw fouls, and I think put pressure on their defense, get downhill in transition. That's going to be what we try to do.
Yeah, I think one of the things we've noticed, because we're on the stream,
Let's do a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're on it kind of quite a bit. And one thing we've noticed kind of as the season's gone on is how much the production of the bench has kind of stepped up as the season went on, because it was kind of, for a while there, it was Megan, Katie, and Ashley kind of doing it all.
Yep.
And I was starting to wonder when they were going to kind of step in, and me and Jack talk about that a lot, and it seemed like the last couple streams we were on, they really picked up the pace, and we're bringing a lot more to the table, and that was exciting to see for us, especially.
Yeah, and I'd say our transfer freshman basketball is Caitlin Furtig. She's had 2 really good games against Teal. She was a big part. We played them here and beat them. She was our second leading scorer in that game.
Okay.
We went up there and got off to a really slow start, kept clawing back. She made some huge plays down the stretch, whether it was rebounding in transition, pushing the ball, made a big 3. She's somebody that's really kind of taking the reins, and I think it's, from the bench standpoint, but she gets in the gym, she puts the work in, and I think she's been out of basketball for 2 years.
Okay.
So now really just starting to get her stride back again, hell of an athlete, long arms, just got some game to her, and kind of, kind of plays like a guy with kind of her movements, ball handling, and what have you. And she's been a big lift off the bench. I think we've had different points in the year. I'll even go all the way back to first couple conference games. Like Brittany Smith hasn't seen the minutes she'd like right now, but hit 2 huge threes in back-to-back games to extend leads to give us a chance to start off 2-0 in the conference. So everybody throughout the year, I think, has had their opportunity to chip in, in a tangible way for a victory this year. So it's been really good to see. But like you said, at the end of the day, Caitlin, Megan, and Ashley have really, carried the load, set the table, and then you got Liv Barkley and Sarah Underman, who have been probably the most underappreciated, parts of what we've been able to do.
That's one of the things we talk about too, because we like seeing the production from those 2 especially.
Definitely.
Yeah, I know I've mentioned a couple times how I've really wanted to see, probably midway through the season, I wanted to see Olivia Barkley really step up into a bigger role. And she started playing really well. She was playing a lot more aggressively, offensively and defensively. And I think, after Sierra Ungerman came back from her injury, I thought she stepped up big time too, which I think is going to be crucial for you guys going down the stretch, because her rebounding, her aggressive play, I think that's definitely going to set you guys apart from these other teams in the conference.
Yeah, and I think the big thing with Sierra especially, she puts stress on their kids inside. In some ways it doesn't even show up in the box score, whether it's just as simple as, tomorrow Destiny Johnson has got to block her out every single time. Sierra's going to give the effort to fight for an offensive rebound. It's going to pop her every time she comes in the post. And we kind of missed some of that during the stretch she was out. And it really, it was, you kind of notice it when you don't have something. And we really noticed, the things that she did don't necessarily show up on the box score, but it's huge to winning. And I think, with her doing that, and then Liv Barkley does anything you ask her. She is kind of that glue that holds it together from an offensive standpoint. She'll make the extra pass. She'll sacrifice her shot, draw 2 people, kick it to somebody, and she's really started to buy in. I'm putting her in a tough position, playing inside, being undersized.
Yeah.
She is scrapping and scrapping and scrapping, and really, her and Sierra have done a heck of a job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, this win, what would it mean not only for you, but this team, this program, the school, just in general, for your first year at the helm, to not only win a home playoff game, but to hopefully make it to the PAC championship and win the PAC championship?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I say this just how I tell our team is that I'm not gonna BS you guys on it. It would be a huge win. It's not just the Bill Belichick, just another game. It is a big deal.
Oh,
it is a big deal. 100% for us to get a win at home. We're gonna have a great crowd tomorrow. To get that for our program, for the athletic department, for us being in the position to have a home playoff game in a competitive conference like this is a big deal. We want to show out, and I think for our obviously, we're in a one-game season from here out. So every game we play moving forward, it is our championship.
Yeah.
It's when we go home. So at the end of the day, this is the championship game for tomorrow for us, and we'll take what comes next after that. But it's the biggest game on the schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're kind of saying it's a big game, not only as it being a playoff game, and like you said, pretty much a one-game season here on out. How does it feel playing your old team in the first round? Like, does that add a little bit of enthusiasm to it?
Yeah, and I try to keep this stuff away from our team.
Yeah.
And I think the only time I mentioned it, after the second time we played it, we beat them twice. I mentioned thanks for that. Beat them. But yeah, there is, and I said I'm not gonna lie to you. Beating my alma mater, 3 times, I think would definitely be icing on the cake. It's a weird feeling, and it's been a weird feeling.
I'm sure.
Kind of being on that other sideline, sitting on the opposite bench when we went down there. But as a competitor, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, without a doubt, we want to go out there and get it done. And it would be special for me to be able to knock them out 3 times. Yep.
Now, going forward, moving on after this season, how do you kind of plan on accomplishing the same things you guys did this year without having your 3 stars, Katie, Megan, and Ashley, next year?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, every year, and that's the fun part, I think, about having coached at every level, having worked for people that have been super successful and have coached really different styles. I think, I'm really adaptable, and I think at the end of the day, the root of what we do will always be competitors and aggressive and all those things. But our roster could be really different. Our strengths we could be much more of an inside team. Where, as recruiting is going, we're, getting some kids that I think fit how we play now, but I think we've also stumbled upon a couple that I think, with a little more inside lean to them, and I think they could be just as big factors next year. So I think for us, I think you're going to see the same team you've seen in terms of competitiveness and aggressiveness all day, but stylistically, it could be very different. And I think, it all starts with recruiting, and at the end of the day, especially at our level, Division III, you can't necessarily recruit to a certain type of player. You got to get the best kids you can get, and once you bring that collection together, they're good people, hard workers, you figure out how you need to play at that point. And I think this year was lucky coming in. We had players already in place to play the way I wanted to play it from the jump. But now moving forward, I think every year you try to recruit to that, but I think you've got to adjust as a coach, and I think there's no pounding your head against the wall trying to make square peg fit in a round hole. I think we've got to evaluate once we get to that point next year and in this summer and figure out how we got to do it. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to recruit competitive basketball players that love playing the game, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, you've done a great job this year. Seriously, you've done a great job, and we're really excited to see who you bring in next year and how you're going to continue to build off of this year. But congratulations. Thanks for coming on the show. Good luck tomorrow. Games tomorrow at the AFC. Phil the Cougar Den. I believe it's at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Going to be a great out. So please, everybody, come. Bring your outdoor voices and be ready to cheer because it's going to be a great game tomorrow.
Let's get it. Yep.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Nick and Jack Show. This is our final segment of our 4th installment, and I think we're just going to give a little pre-game breakdown of the basketball games coming up tonight and tomorrow. And just so everybody knows, we're filming this on Tuesday, so most likely, 100%, you won't be able to see it until the guys' game is already played. But still, we feel like we have some good comments just to get out into the world, and then
Pre-game notes kind of from Nick.
Exactly. So, Jack, what do you got?
Well, first things first. Chatham men's are taking on W&J tonight, home playoff game, whiteout, 7 p.m. Actually, what's funny is W&J was the first team that Chatham men's basketball team had ever beat in their program history. So it's kind of funny how it's come all full circle, especially for these seniors, Alex Chopin, Devin Stedman, Nasir Alexander, a lot of other guys to be named. That it kind of comes back full circle, like I said. The first win that they ever had in a program, now that they're having their first ever home playoff game against that same team, it's almost kind of, I don't want to say fate or destiny, but it's kind of, it's interesting. I think it was kind of cool, but I'm really excited I'm just really excited for a great game tonight. I think, a big part of it's going to be, how does Isaiah Brown come out right from the jump? No pun intended. How is he going to come out right from the start of the game? Is he going to be aggressive, and is he going to be doing what he's been doing all year long? And kind of, the other guys around him, Will Sander, Anthony Bomar. I'm really curious to see how Anthony Bomar controls the tempo of the game, controls the pace of play, especially in an atmosphere that I'm assuming is going to be pretty incredible and probably something that they have not played in front of at home before.
Oh, 100%. And what I think is really interesting is this is kind of game 3 of this. Well, this is game 3 of their W&J series.
Yeah.
W&J took a really tough one from the Cougars at home, and then we went to. I remember we watched that on the PAC stream. They took a really crucial game against W&J. I remember they were, I think, 13 or 15 going into halftime, and Will was doing his Will being Will, you know,
Will being Will,
pumping up the Cougar section. You could tell the W&J fans just hated him. They were giving him a hard time. You could tell on the stream, but it was just an exciting game that we took from them. It was really down to the bone getting that win, but I think tonight it all comes down to tonight, best of 3. So whoever gets this one gets the bragging rights. So it should be very interesting tonight.
It'll be a great atmosphere. I'm just really excited because I know W&J is not too far either, so most likely they'll probably bring their own fans. So that'll be really interesting.
I know they're bringing their cheerleading team.
Yeah,
so I think that's kind of unusual. So.
Yeah, so maybe there'll be even bigger crowd of WJ and
for sure
Chatham students. But over to the women's side, they also have a home playoff game tomorrow. It's going to be a gray out at the AFC 7 p.m. Both nights. Fans, please fill the Cougar Den, be as loud as you can because it's going to be a great atmosphere for both games. And we just had David Saur on, head women's basketball coach, and I'm really excited for tomorrow. I know it's kind of been a long time coming for a lot of these seniors, Megan, Katie, Ashley, and I'm just really excited to kind of see them lay it all out on the floor tomorrow. You know, like Coach Saur was saying, it's kind of like a one-game season right now. See them lay everything out on the floor and come up with a victory. That'd be great in front of a home crowd too.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. Both teams' first home playoff games in Chatham history. So that's got to be not only an honor, but that's got to add some excitement, some enthusiasm to your game plan. And it's going to be really exciting to watch. It's going to be absolutely electric in the stadium. I know that because like I said to Coach Saur, our coach already gave us the 2 days off so we can.
That's when you know.
Exactly.
That's when you know it's going to be big. And coaches start canceling practice. I was hoping, maybe a teacher would cancel class or something.
Oh, I know.
If any of you have evening classes, maybe hey, you think we can? No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But class is important. But that's
100%.
But that's still. That's awesome that he's giving you. I think all teams are actually. I could be wrong.
I think our athletic director, Mr. Leonard, he definitely was kind of urging the coaches to kind of have the coaches give us the day off just so we could support the basketball teams because this is do or die time now. After this could be the last game of the season for both teams. So it's gonna be really exciting to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're gonna get into a little bit of Logan's lookout now. Sure. Logan, why don't you take it over? Let us know what's going on this week.
All right, this week not as many games as last week, but still definitely a big week as you guys have already talked about. Tuesday men's basketball home playoff game. Wednesday women's basketball home playoff game. Hopefully they can continue and have a couple more games this week. And then we got track and field pack championships on Thursday. Do you guys know where that's at?
I believe it's W&J, but I could be wrong.
Okay. And then men's lax has their second home game on Saturday at Highmark vs. Heidelberg at 1 p.m.
Very cool. Nice job. Second job on Logan's lookout. Did a great job.
Definitely not as packed as last week, but I'd say quantity over quality.
Exactly.
Quality over quantity on this one.
Yeah.
These games are a lot bigger than the games from last week, so it's a little bit more of a condensed week for it. Only, like you said, only 4 events, but
stakes are much higher.
Actually, 3 of those, pack championships for cross country. It's with track and field. Sorry about that. It's definitely going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week. So again, fans, please come out, support if you can. Tonight, tomorrow night, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a great atmosphere for both games. Tonight's a whiteout, tomorrow's a gray out. 7 p.m. for both games at the AFC. Fill the Cougar Den. And don't ever forget, go Cougs.